Small cap stocks are forming a possible giant W pattern. Dollar bounce is pressuring gold. Geopolitical shock coming? We will see if oil is indicating just that. There is also going to be a story about how Alex, that's me, predicted quantum entanglement, and we will revisit a trade for quantum computers, IonQ. We will also give another example of Palantir technologies. Unfortunately, this one got away. And we will do another trade example of Upstart holdings. This one didn't get away. All this and more in today's edition of MasterChartsTrading.com market recap for Friday, July 28th, 2023. As always, don't forget to hit the like button, share, and comment on this video. Let's get started. Throughout the presentation, I will be using my proprietary MasterChartsTrading.com price action indicators. You can sign up for those by going to the link in the description and following instructions. You can see them on this chart. This is green, blue, red, and yellow lines. They're used for trading and for determining if the security is in an uptrend or downtrend, also as a support and resistance lines. Looking at S&P 500 first and foremost, this right there are 52-week highs that were set on July 27th. This is an interesting day. You can kind of see that this is a big red candle at the top. So if anything, this could be a bearish engulfing, whereas the candlestick from 26th of July is fully engulfed by a candlestick from the 27th of July. This could be an outside reversal. This also could be nothing. On this date, we had quite a bit of events. We had first a very good report from the government about GDP, and then following that, we also had a report about inflation. And then I think Federal Reserve decided to raise the interest rates anyway. So overall, it was a pretty volatile day. Possibly it's a reversal, but not necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily yet call it a reversal. We can look at weekly chart of this security, S&P 500. So weekly simply means 50 each candlestick, each of these funny looking red or green bars is a week's worth of activity. On this chart you can see that we just hit another 52-week high. Notice this big run. I mean, it's really powerful run. It's one of those historical runs possibly where we have just non-stop move higher and higher and higher. We are approaching currently previous levels from March of 2022. They're just like a percentage point away. This is the last level of any significant resistance before we will hit record highs, which are about 4.5% higher from today's level. So overall, this is obviously a very good chart, and longer term we could see, especially if we see fresh fresh all-time records, we may see a significant move higher following those records being hit. Looking at small caps, this is IWM, small caps, Russell 2000 small caps index. So on this chart, I highlighted this giant W-like pattern. I mean, there's another high here from the March 2022 highs, but let's just concentrate on this pattern, defined by a high from August 2022, low from October 2022, another high from January of 2023, and another low from probably March or May of this year, 2023. Finally, currently, as of right this instant, we're in July of 2023, and we're approaching this previous highs. I marked them by this white line on this chart. And so just you will see what I'm talking about. These are the previous highs, and this giant W-like pattern. So W-like patterns, I mean, you can call them whatever you want. You can think of it as inverse head and shoulders, like this is a head, this is another shoulder here, this is the other shoulder. So it's like a possibly inverse head and shoulders also, like that, there. This is the head, this is the shoulder, but it's inverted. So inverted head and shoulders are bullish in nature, they're positive in nature, or you can call it W pattern, whatever. This depth of this pattern is around $31. This is IWM, small caps. Current price is about 196. The depth of this pattern is around $31, so the bottom is like $160. Normally, when we see a breakout above the previous highs, which could happen as early as next week, if nothing terrible geopolitical happens, that would imply a projected move of the depth of this pattern of around $30 higher. So we're looking at a significant move higher for small caps. Notice the small caps are definitely underperforming. These are 52-week highs. Notice for S&P 500 we're approaching all-time highs. So we're small caps definitely have underperformed. That doesn't mean that they cannot outperform going forward. And like I said, right this instant, we're looking at a potential inverted head and shoulder or a W pattern with a pretty significant, depth of this pattern. And again, if we break out above the previous highs, so we're looking at like a breakout above maybe 200, like 199 or so for IWM small caps. Also remember right here where I'm hovering, it says adjusted ADJ, and it's blue, it's pressed. That means I'm using adjusted prices for dividends. Prices are adjusted for dividends. Right there where I'm hovering on the right. So yes, I think we could. This could be a significant potential for the upside. Of course, if the S&P 5, or rather, if small caps are going to do a move of that magnitude, most likely by then S&P 500 would already be at records somewhere, above previous December 2021 highs or January 2022 highs where I'm hovering. Most likely they will be significantly higher. Will it happen, in a linear fashion? It's possible, but I mean, there was no rest. Notice this low in March of this year, 2023, we just went straight higher. Can we do another move like that? Yeah, it's possible. There's no way to predict this. Right now, we're just looking at the potential move, and we're trying to determine if small caps would be a good buy or not. We're already long small caps. We can see IWM, this is a daily chart. So before that I was showing you the weekly chart, meaning each candlestick is a week's worth of activity. Small caps on daily charts, so notice this upward facing arrows, so those are opportunities to buy, and this is where we already went long. So we are already long small caps, and if we get this significant W breakout, then even better, obviously. Using the indicators is pretty easy to see where to buy, at what level to buy. We just buy on breakout above the blue support resistance line where I'm hovering. It is visually obvious. Switching gears, we're looking currently at dollar DXY, dollar currency index. This is a dollar versus various currencies like euro, Japanese yen, British pound, Swiss franc, and I believe some of the Nordic currencies as well. So it's a weighted index with euro dominating this index. Currently, the dollar is in a downtrend. Notice there's downward facing arrows. It was in an uptrend until November of last year, but then it switched to being in a downtrend in January of this year. And notice downward facing arrows, meaning they're successful trades. or rather, this is where I would have been shorting on close below the red line. Notice, and then notice we moved lower and lower and lower. In fact, we made another 52-week low, following what I thought was a support break with a break below this February low. Currently, we're rebounding. We have bounded up to the yellow support resistance line, and now it's kind of like, you know, a moment of truth to a degree, because notice before, for example, right there in May, in June, and then finally here in July, I would have been, I mean, it's not an ideal place to sell, but it's an okay place to sell this security. So looking like we're about to start selling the security again, and by extension, when we sell the dollar, we might as well buy gold. So why? Because gold is divided by US dollar. It's XAU divided by USD. So if the bottom part of this equation will get smaller, dollar will weaken again. Okay, gold will benefit. Gold will go higher. Gold is already in an uptrend. Gold began its uptrend right there where I'm hovering on January 13th of this year. There were a couple of opportunities to buy it. Another one right there in June of this year, June 29th. Again, it's pretty obvious. This would have been a successful trade. I missed this one, but I think we will get. It's possible that we will get another opportunity pretty soon. So, especially once again, if the dollar continues to at least gain for a little while, then we will see gold depreciate, at least in the short term. So if gold gets to around 1900, this is basically the blue line. I'm reading it off the chart, 1897 or about 1900. I think it will be a good buying opportunity. So let's wait and see what happens. I think right this instant I just want to wait with gold probably and see what happens. Oil. So oil, I'm going to show it to you on the weekly chart first. And this is oil on the weekly chart. So notice this action here. First we came down, oil came down towards this levels of around $65 in March of this year, and so far was rejected, did not continue lower. Another time we saw an attempt to move lower here in May of this year, and notice again that was as low as it went, around $64-65. This is light crude oil. Brent is basically the same thing. We had a small bounce and several opportunities to pierce this through this towards like $68 to the bottom, 67 maybe, so right there. May 30th, June 12th, June 20th, and another one on June 26th. All of those potential attempts to move lower, and they all failed, and finally we moved higher. So right now we're around $80. Looking at the daily chart, I looked at the same chart and I was like, this is showing signs of resilience. We're trying to get below and we just can't. So notice the same price action. It retested May lows and then rallied. So right now we're bouncing. In fact, we bounced for the past few weeks. Notice this pretty significant move higher. I predicted this move if you listen to my previous videos. We're currently above this red support resistance line, approaching the blue support resistance line. So blue support resistance line will imply that oil has turned around into a new uptrend. Okay, we can project the indicators into the future. Also notice how they're curving down. Okay, so they will finally be at the lowest point sometime in late August 30th here. So right now even we're only 4% away or so from bullish levels. Okay, so bullish levels just means that we're going to think that oil is now in an uptrend. We're no longer going to think that oil is in a downtrend. Right this instant there's still a possibility that it will turn around, close below the red line, and at that point, okay, this means that we're still in a downtrend. But only a few percentage points up, and this will imply oil has turned around. Why that is happening? So possibly because of anticipation of new demand. That's the best case scenario. If we see, if I'm correct, and we're seeing what do you call it, the economy turn around already finally and just continue higher, because stocks are next to records. If I said like I said, small caps are possibly about to break out. Demand might also increase, so demand for oil could be the best case scenario. The other possibility is a disruption of supplies. So disruption of supplies could be due to some sort of a geopolitical event, and with a crazy person in Kremlin right now, those geopolitical events could be quite nasty. If you haven't noticed, I don't like the guy in Kremlin. This probably has to do with the fact that my family left that country many years ago, and haven't looked back, because that country has been always crazy. So now we're looking at this chart, and I'm like, okay, something is about to happen. I'm praying that it's not going to be some sort of an oil disruption shock. I'm really hoping that it's just simply because of the upcoming potential demand. In any case, looks like gasoline prices are about to continue higher. And now we come to the very interesting part. I'm reading, recently, this is a pop science, pop science news, but they occasionally come up, hopefully they sort of read the science articles and trying to figure out if this is indeed true. So quantum entanglement discovery. So I did my best to understand what this is all about, but quantum entanglement, there is basically we can, with this technology, there could be instant communication across large geographical distances. Could be, we're talking not even like within Earth. We can say, okay, let's say between planets. If there is a quantum entangled devices, they could be instant communication across large distances. Could be astronomical distances. This article, these guys, I'm gonna provide a link to this article. They figured out a way how to entangle more than one photon at a time. So one photon of light, they were able to entangle more than one of them. And if I understand this article correctly, if they do this 20 or 30 entangled quantum light sources, then they can create a quantum computer which would be faster than the largest supercomputer currently in existence. So we're talking about just breakthrough science fiction potentials for technology, various communications, and the speed of processing. Very exciting kind of breakthrough, if this is correct. All right, and this is an article to the Science, what do you call it, magazine Science. I tried to understand it. If you guys can understand, I'm going to provide a link to this article. If whoever is listening to this video can understand it, I sort of kind of read it, but I cannot say for sure that this article is interpreted correctly in this pop science article. But we don't really care for that much. We do care for various stocks that could potentially benefit. Article came out right there on July 27th. Next day, this stock, this is IonQ, this is a quantum computer stock. Today it leaped 15%. Okay, so notice that this stock has been in an uptrend for a while. In fact, I own this stock. I bought it back in May. Okay, so let's try to figure out why did I, even bother buying this stock, and what is this all about. So Using my indicators, it's very easy to understand what sort of stocks you want to be buying or not even bothering. So looking at this computer, this is IonQ on weekly chart. This is the pattern I'm looking for. I'm going to reiterate it. I already mentioned this before, but this is the kind of pattern I look for. So this is a startup company. Ideally, this should be all-time lows. Indeed, we have all-time lows that occurred back in December of last year, 2022, or at least 52-week lows. Then, for some reason, we don't know why, because we don't really care, we look at the stock price itself, we don't look at the news that much. I'm sure there was some moving news here, but the stock began to move higher. And now we're looking at daily chart of the same stock, IonQ. It broke above this red line. I kind of became aware of it around this time, and then finally it broke above the blue support resistance line right there where I'm hovering on Wednesday the 10th of May. Once again, I don't know anything about the stock. In fact, I don't really, I wrote here that I predicted this. Obviously, I didn't predict it. Alex predicts quantum entanglement. Obviously, I don't predict this. I mean, how can I predict this? If I could predict it, I wouldn't be talking to you. I would be just, very rich, retired somewhere. The breakout did occur. All I need to know is, did it cross my indicator lines? Yes, it crossed my indicator lines. At that point, I'm like, this looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. I bought it on May 15th of this year at $7.05. I took profits. I moved my stop to entry, took more profits here, and now I'm holding about a half of my still original position, which still is really great because it's up 154% since I originally bought it. I bought it at $7. It's currently at $15. I'm sorry, $17.88. So overall, this is a very interesting stock. This is quantum computers technology. Is it related to this? I don't know. You decide. Make a comment. As a completely side note, recently I became aware of this book. This was a 2018 book by a writer, a Finnish writer, Hannu Rajaniemi, called The Quantum Thief. And in this book, I like science fiction. If you like science fiction, then think about Neuromancer has married Sherlock Holmes, and this would be Quantum Thief. So they're using quantum technology. There's quantum entanglement for instant communications and for extremely fast computers that are border like artificial intelligence, but the important thing is they're extremely fast computers, and quantum entanglement is instant communication. So let's be on the lookout for that. Next stock I wanted to just highlight, this one is the one that got away again, Palantir Technologies. So Palantir Technologies, let's look at weekly chart first. This stock is relatively new. It launched in 2020. So Palantir Technologies, recently it became known for fighting. They are providing their services to Ukrainian government, and this is used for targeting. This is used for figuring out where the Russian important people are located, for example, generals, based on various, geolocations, I guess, data, and this data is then used to kill them. So just for your information, this is a sort of a war stock or a sort of a defense stock, but currently it is it's also a technology stock. So it's an interesting technology, interesting stock. It's controversial to a degree, but I wanted to highlight it purely currently on the pattern recognition. So once again, I'm looking for stocks that are at least a 52-week low recently, or ideally all-time low. And indeed, this is an all-time low that occurred back here in December of 2022. So Palantir Technologies, nobody cared about it really, but somehow, or rather, yeah, right there, this is the all-time low that occurred here in December of 2022. Nobody really cared about technologies, about this stock company, stock of this company, Palantir. Something again started to happen. The stock started to move higher. There's a breakout above the red line, and then there's the breakout above the blue line. See, again, at this point, I don't really need to think, but unfortunately I did. And I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, oh, there's this big gap here. There's the big gap between 8th of May and the 9th of May. Interestingly enough, this is the Victory Day in Europe in World War II. Very interesting coincidence, perhaps. So a gap it went from $7.68 and then to $9.55. Significant gap. I'm like, I just wish it pulled back a little bit. It didn't. Okay, so notice that this Palantir Technologies just took off. So once again, I don't really need to do anything. I just need to trust the indicators. We close above the blue line, we buy. We close our eyes and kiss, right? Close our eyes and buy. And then we just sit and wait. It is up 102% currently. Is it overbought? Sure, we can pull back, but clearly this is a very interesting stock, and people are obviously interested in this. And the way things are going, battlefield AIs and information technology used for warfare are not going to go away. So yeah, we need to pay attention to that as well. Finally, I wanted to highlight another stock for this security. This is called Upstart Holdings. I believe this is a lending platform. I think it's in the United States, in lending platform. So Upstart Technologies, I wanted to show again the same, very similar pattern. It used to be, very high in price. Recently, it hit an all-time low. There's an all-time low in May of this year, and then it started to move higher and closed above my blue support resistance line on June 8th. And then again, we had an opportunity to buy on June 22nd, 23rd, possibly as late as June 26th, at which point it took off and never looked back. And this is again 108% move. So it went from $29 to $65. All right, this is basically what we do in one of my newsletters. So I have two newsletters. I have the like ETFs and various large cap stocks. Also, I have a second newsletter which is speculative stocks. So this Upstart Technologies was a part of the speculative newsletter. And if you are a subscriber, big congratulations. You are now 108% richer for this stock. All right, head over to MasterChartsTrading.com, click on sign up for one of the products. Right now, I think the best deal again is to get both my trading indicators and newsletters. So I have the trading indicators, which are these lines you can see on the chart. They're very simple. All you need to do is get a free TradingView account, open a TradingView.com account, go to my site and sign up. Once you sign up on my site, I will activate your account on TradingView. You will see the same picture on your TradingView account. You can trade any stock. Newsletter, same thing. You can sign up on my site, like I just said. For example, this week I will cover various stocks. You can see them in this chart, in this list, various ETFs, various large cap stocks, and some of the speculative stocks, for example, Asana, Cloudflare, Neo, this is a automaker, Snowflake, Spotify, Tencent Music Entertainment, as well as some of the gold related like Royal Gold and Wheaton Precious Metals. Again, the best deal is to get both trading indicators and newsletters at $59.95 per month. I think it's the best deal, and I would sign up pretty soon. All right, that's it for this week's recap. Thank you for staying and watching this video until the very end. Please don't forget to do the three actions that I always ask: like, share, and comment. This will help tremendously to promote these videos. Thank you for watching and have another great trading week. Bye-bye.